Welcome to the March 2025 indoor meeting of the Raleigh Astronomy Club. So welcome everybody. If you're a new member, can I get you to raise your hand or you're, hey, cool, or visiting or what? If you're not some of the old geezers that are here all the time. Okay. I know. So please introduce yourself around. I saw a lot of people during the social hour. That's great. Introduce yourself, talk to us. Okay. And if you're in the Zoom call, please introduce yourself in the chat windows. Peter asked me tonight if we could interrupt him at any time during his conversation and his presentation. We can interrupt him at any time. We're not going to wait till the end. So just raise your hand, but please get a microphone so that we actually get your question, okay? So just raise your hand and we'll run a microphone around to you. Okay? I want to go over safety for a minute. We got some wires across the back running back here. We got tables here, things of that nature. So just be careful when you're walking around in the dark. Same stuff. The lights are down, bright screen. Do I have a CPR person in the room? Okay. If multiple people pass out, come to me first. Okay. Do I have an emergency caller in the room? Someone that will dial 911. Susan, you are designated. Okay. Fire equipment is back there near the door. There's a fire extinguisher there. Okay. Remote attendees, we put this in here because we want to make sure you guys are kind of watching each other. Don't want anybody to be alone at home and pass out or anything. So these are our emergency exits for us. Out the door, up, and you have to go through the stairs. And through that door and through the stairs. We have had a problem recently at 3 Bear Acres. We discovered, I run a all sky camera when I'm out there, and we have had a problem with a creature that we found out there, very furry. Please don't feed this animal. He's also sitting right there. Okay, so I want to go over the upcoming events that we have going on. Okay, so Creech Road this Thursday in Garner, we are having a science day. Do they need any more volunteers? Okay, we're doing presentations on that day. Our solar presentations on Sol. Statewide Star Party, there are 4 sites. As of right now, they do not have one, a leader for the Apex one. Anastasia Vale will be doing Creedmoor. Susan will be doing Nashville, and Short Fat Ball Guy will be doing Wilson. That would be me. We have Hunter Magnet Steam Night coming up on the 10th. Whoop. Yeah, they're all at the same time. Yeah. So yeah. So if somebody wants, no, that's a great question. I don't remember what this one is, Anna. I don't know if you do. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Do you want to talk about it at all?
I don't have all the information.
Okay. Well, that's fine. But this is an event coming up. Watch for it. Okay. Martin Middle Schools, they're April 14th. I don't know if Steve's on the phone either, if he wants to unmute. I don't, on the phone. How old am I?
I'm here.
Willard, April 16th. Everybody loves the Willard. Well, talk, Steve.
Yeah, I'm here. You're doing a good job, Dana.
Okay. Stargazing with Sagan, Journey Through the Cosmos. April the 25th. Dana left off the word cosmos, sorry. Art Space. This one's actually a lot of fun. No. Of course you can.
So this one's
No.
Can you hear me? What about now? No? Still no.
Check the mic.
Yeah, it's on.
Cram it in your face.
Is this working?
No.
Hello?
That was working.
Hello? Okay, can you hear me now? Is
Yes.
that working?
Yes.
All right, cool. So the stargazing with Sagan on April 25th, I will be sending out an announcement for that soon. We need as many astronomer volunteers as possible. Basically what they're doing is we're going to have a rack table set up, you know, with our typical rack stuff, astronomy stuff, but also we'll have a group of telescopes there in the field. This is at Eno, West Point on the Eno. And they have a big projection screen. They're going to show the first and last episodes of Carl Sagan's Cosmos while we're doing stargazing. There will be a few other tables there from other places as well, but I definitely need some telescope volunteers for that event. Oh, okay.
Any question? Art space. I like this one. This one's fun. I have a lot of fun with this one. It's you sit on the sidewalk and people are coming by and you go, hey, you want to look at the sun? And they're like, it's great. I love it. Just really grab them. And Dean and Susan and I have done this twice. Have we done it twice? Okay, I did it twice. But and I borrowed where did you go? Your scope for it.
They're
Anyway.
gonna put us at the same spot again.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a good time with that one. First Friday, May the 2nd. Weather allowing, we're doing Triangle Land Conservatory, 3 Bear Acres. Okay. Tonight's presentation by Mr. Peter Birren. Our guest speaker tonight is author Peter Birren. So celestial voyeur, should have reached out and read earlier, and author of the Deep Sky Field book, which we have a stack of here. Some of you may recall his presentation during last June's meeting. Peter is retired from his graphic design business of 45 years. 7 years ago, he moved from under the Monster Light Dome of Chicago to Southern Kentucky, where his backyard is a Bortle 4 skies. Creating objects became his classroom in astronomy starting some 25 years ago. After years of hang gliding out in the country, the night sky became a real draw, so the curiosity grew and developed into the book that you see. The title of his talk this evening is Getting Started in Astronomy, or Starting Small Helps You Learn to See Without Getting Lost. So again, if you guys will raise your hand, we will run a mic to you. All questions are very important to us. And second of all, it'll take us just a second to switch over to his slide. So give us just a second. Go ahead and start, Peter.
Good evening. Glad to be here again. Thank you for inviting me for this second presentation. I love it, and I really had a good time on the first one, and I hope you all enjoyed it at that time. And since that time, I've been asked by a couple of different clubs to come up with a short talk, because I can be a little long-winded, but a short talk that's geared towards beginners and those who might just jump into the hobby with a sky, that S50 or the S30, without really knowing fully what's going on and what's up there. And we certainly want to keep their attention. And don't want them to drop out from getting overkill from lack of understanding. So getting started in astronomy, yes. Starting small helps you to learn to see without getting lost, because learning to see is a big part of this, as we know. And there's no wrong way to do amateur astronomy. And, you know, for those newbies there, I'm glad to see a few are in the audience. But there is one wrong way, and that's to buy cheap stuff and expect to see the amazing color and details that you got in the magazine. You know, I've seen quite a few efforts by long-time amateurs who have gone into the sea sky for astrophotos, and they're just really frustrated because they're not getting the quality that they imagined. But we'll get to that. Because what we're talking about with the sport here, with the hobby, is you know, it is the effort. You know, happiness is the result of effort. You know, cows don't just give us milk. You know, we have to work for it, and the same goes for astronomy. So we're going to go over a few things about equipment, environment, expectations, and a few exercises. Starting out with naked eye, and then you know, we'll review some binocular things and telescopes, astrophotography, learning to see with some advice from some old time guys like Herschel, and you know, provide you a few resources. So naked eye, oh boy, you know, get out there and just under the stars and be amazed. Einstein once said, "The joy in looking and comprehending is the most beautiful gift of nature." And I certainly have to agree with him. One of the first things you can see, obviously, with naked, well, obvious for those of us who know what they're looking for, but is the movements of the sun, the moon, the planets. The sun, of course, goes every day, and the moon every month it changes. And the planets, as we saw, and I hope many of you got to see the parade of planets. That was quite interesting, from Mercury, Venus, Earth, of course, the moon, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, Uranus, and I missed Neptune. I couldn't quite catch that, but so I got 8 out of 9. Not bad. With the moon, you have the moon phases, and if you pay attention to what goes on with the moon and watch it, you know, as it goes on from changes from day to day, happen to get up early enough to catch a full moon in the morning, which is always nice to see. You know, it's Earth's night light, so we may as well get used to looking at it, and there's a whole lot to it. The constellations, you know, naked eye again, you know, to stay oriented. Leo is coming up now. Orion is well, you know, well overhead, and as the night goes on, it's beginning to set. But if you know, again, for those new to this, you know, pay attention to some of the constellations, because they will, you know, they'll keep you company at night as you see them move from east to west. Colors, we can't see a whole lot of color. You know, you see the pictures in the magazines and in these constellations, and the nebulas are just so beautiful in their false color. But some stars we can see, certainly. Our sun is a yellow sun at about 6,000 Kelvin. Rigel, if you take a look at Orion, you know, Rigel is the lower right, and it is quite blue. And Betelgeuse in the upper left, or his right shoulder, as it were, is quite orange. Aldebaran is also orange, going a little bit towards red. I see a little red in that when I see it. So Rigel, yeah, Sirius coming up. Oh boy, point anything at Sirius, any tool, any binoculars, telescope, whatever, and you get a real light show. What an amazing thing to see. Because it's all colors. It just comes through fine. A good tool, naked eye, or with, you know, as you grow with the hobby, is a planisphere. This one is a make your own, and you can download it online. I cut it out and put the pieces together, and you have your own planisphere, and you just oriented according to the month, the day, and the time. And you get to learn a little bit about, or you get to see better what's up in the sky. And a little tip on using a planisphere is, you'd think you'd hold it down like a book, but it's best used when you put it overhead, over your head, with north pointed north, of course, and then the constellations kind of fall into place and you can see a little bit better where they are. Here are a couple of planispheres I've had for quite some time. The Star and Satellite Pathfinder, that one, boy, it's from the early 60s, and the seasonal star charts really got me going. Around 72, I got this book, and it took me almost 20 years to understand it, but it was a great resource for me growing up in the hobby here. Naked eye, what do you need for naked eye? Not a whole lot, obviously. A chair, the planisphere, appropriate clothes, and a red light. Red light because your eyes aren't as flooded out by red light as they are by white light. And with a white light, it may take 15, 20 minutes for your eyes to become dark adapted again. So, good advice, get yourself a red light. What can you see naked eye? What kind of objects? Well, here's a toned back photo of M13, the Great Hercules Cluster. This will be coming up. It's a great summer object and just fantastic. About 500,000 stars in there. And we get the double cluster, right between Cassiopeia and Perseus. And I can see that. I mean, it's wonderful. I can see that naked eye from my backyard, and it's just amazing. It doesn't look like this. But if I did show in a given photo what it did look like, it'd just be little fuzzies. The Pleiades, I hope many of you know this one. It's still up. It's a little into the northwest right now, and not quite overhead as it was about a month ago, 2 months ago. Always beautiful to see. And M31, the Andromeda Galaxy, it's the most distant thing you can see with your naked eye at 2.6 million light years away. And there's Andromeda Galaxy and the Milky Way will end up colliding in a billion years or so. Glad I won't be around, but it'd be interesting to see. Finding Polaris, it's not only an exercise, but it's good to stay oriented using the last two, the pouring stars of the Big Dipper, pointing right towards Polaris. And another one, I believe I showed this to you last time. It's another way to look at Polaris. Use on the left side over here, you have the summer triangle between Altair, Vega, and Deneb. And those three make up the summer triangle, and it's the half of a diamond, and it'll point you right to the North Star. And in the summertime, late summer, early fall in the western sky, southwest sky, you can see Big Bird, which will lead you into other, to be able to identify other constellations. So some things to see with your naked eye. When you go to binoculars, it opens up a little bit more, and it's loads of fun with binoculars. I spent in my more serious, what the heck is it and where is it? I spent a year with a small pair of binoculars, and then it really got me going. So, but never glancing through binoculars is like saying, I never go swimming, I never ride a bike, and I never eat candy. So binoculars, my advice, best first piece of equipment you could hope to get. And any size will do once you know what to look for. And that's where, learning a little bit with naked eye first and having the planisphere and a good observing guide will guide you. You know, just get out there and lay down, enjoy what you see. I started out laying down on a bench like this, looked up, and I realized I had no idea what I was really looking at. So that's when I got into it a little bit deeper. So like I said, any size will do. And 7x35s, which is what I started with. 12x50s I have now. And I just got Barska 25x100s. And built that parallelogram mount, which is working out quite nicely. Made a couple of modifications to the tripod and the seat now, so but just making it easier on me, and it provide me a quick grab and go. Well, not so quick, but a lot easier than putting together my big obsession. Things you can see. All right, back to Hercules, the Hercules cluster. You know, now you're bringing it in a lot brighter. Actually, be able to identify stars, and there's so many more in there. The Andromeda Galaxy, and with binoculars, you can even pick out. This is M31, the Andromeda, and then M32, little elliptical, and M110 just off to the side, another elliptical, but those it makes a nice view in any eyepiece. CR391, Kruppler 30 or 399, Rocky's cluster, the coat hanger. This you can only see with binoculars, although I had a very fine night up in the UP of Michigan, where it was so dark and so clear I could see this naked eye and pick out all 10 stars. But with a telescope, generally a telescope, you'll be able to catch a few stars, but with binoculars, you'll be able to catch the whole thing. Ptolemy's cluster south of Scorpius really got me going. First time I saw it, it was just so stunning. It's a small jewel box, but nearby is the jewel box, and so there's a lot you can see with that. Then at the tail end of Cygnus, Beta Cygni, is Alberio, finally referred to as the Cub Scout star, the blue and the orange, blue and gold. And makes a fine pair and great to see in binoculars, especially higher power ones, and any telescope view. And of course, the moon in all of its phases. You won't be able to see the landers, the lunar landers, but you will be able to pick out a wide variety of craters and the mares, the seas, and learning and getting familiar with the different seas and whatnot, and the different phases really expands the enjoyment of any night out where it is in clouds. But with binoculars and telescopes, expect that because of the limitations of our eyeballs, we'll see only gray images, not a whole lot of color in the images. You got faint fuzzies, certainly star patterns, whether it's star chains or fairy rings, and you get some details, but loads of fun. And the terminology that goes along with binoculars and telescopes regarding focal length, focal ratio, magnification, and the difference in eyepieces, whether you have the monster binocs or a telescope much like this one here. It all comes into play, and you learn to work with the material, with the equipment you've got. So in telescopes, Henry Ward Beecher, soul without imagination is like an observatory without a telescope. I love that. But to give you an idea, magnification. You know, you get those dime store telescopes that advertise that magnify 500 times. Well, no, it doesn't. Not very well, and you're going to have a real tough time seeing it. So if you take this, what do you call it? The there's the power diagram. You have any telescope that has let's say, a 1200 millimeter or a 48-inch focal length divided by the eyepiece, and you get 48 power. Now, with those big binoculars I had, those are 25 by 100. Those are 25 power. So this is, a fairly good sized telescope. This relates to my 6-inch f8 Edmund Scientific reflector. So when I put a 10 mil eyepiece in, it gave me twice the magnification that those binoculars did. And so you can go down to a 4 or 6 millimeter and get a little bit better. But so that's one thing to do. Different types of telescopes, refractors. Big refractors are beautiful. That from the different observatories around. From I'm not going to go into that, but your refractors, the reflecting telescopes. This one is referred to as a Newtonian reflector from Isaac Newton. He developed this one, which is wonderful. The newer catadioptric telescopes fold the light. The light comes in through a corrector plate, bounces off the primary mirror onto a secondary mirror and back. To have the same mirror size, same primary mirror size, but without the folding, it'd be twice the length. And so this allows for a lot more convenient carrying around, and put it in your car trunk and whatnot, where a larger 4-foot, 6-foot long telescope wouldn't work out as quite as well. But whatever you do, don't buy cheap. Save your pennies and buy as much telescope as you can. But before you do, visit your club events to see through many different scopes, to see how different people work their scopes, whether it's go to or a push to. Just keeping it easy. I suggest a 6 or 8-inch reflector is as a good first scope. And you get a lot of different eyepiece variations where you can use let's say a 38 or a 42 millimeter eyepiece and get a wide view of the sky. And then when you find something, you get another eyepiece that's a little stronger, let's say a 17 millimeter or down to the 10 millimeter. And that way you can go deeper, as it were. Astrophotography, yeah, it can be fun, but it can easily afflict the shooter with shiny object syndromes, because the different objects in the sky, from Andromeda to the huge globular clusters, are really beautiful, and the nebulas, especially some of the planetaries, are just fantastic. But if you only limit yourself to the bright stuff, you're missing out on the random view out the window of the Enterprise. Now let's compare C-STAR, the S50, to visual astronomy. C-STAR is an all-in-one, where you need the scope and eyepieces for let's say an 8-inch like this, or a 10-inch. Built-in Wi-Fi. Well, here with this, you feel the protons in your eyes, these ancient protons from millions of light years away sometimes. 6-hour battery life. Over here, unless you have a dew shield, no batteries required. Smart control with apps. Yeah, use your brain. Smart control with brain. I like that. And it can get expensive. You can it can go. Yeah, I have not gone dived into this. I'm getting a little old to be playing around, but the results of scopes like these, especially with a hydrogen alpha filter to view the sun and take photographs of sunspots, if you got the money for it and you got the knowledge to back it up, it's a wonderful thing. learning to see, yeah, it's an art which must be learned by taking your time. William Herschel, 1800s, he realized that. He also said that sketching is a great aid in learning to see. And whether you use, like Jeremy Perez did here, a piece of black paper with a white grease pencil to record the stars, but taking your time at the eyepiece to draw it down and to see the patterns and to see the difference, larger stars versus smaller stars. This is M21. I'd like to see him try M22 in Sagittarius. He'd be there all day or night. But in 1859, Reverend T.W. Webb's book, he writes, do not be discouraged by ignorance of drawing. Just draw what you see. And the more time you spend at the eyepiece, the more you'll learn to see. And Herschel's last bit of advice, take your time. I have a friend who likes to imbibe, and he came out with us one night. He happened to be at the same place in December, and I had the Christmas tree cluster in my eyepiece, and he came over, and it was a little, I wouldn't say 6 sheets to the wind, but he had at least one sheet up. And he looked through my scope and he says, oh my goodness, I guess astronomy is not a drinking man's sport. And so, yeah, he kind of didn't have the patience for it. But take your time, and the more time you take, the more you'll be rewarded, for sure. Yeah, no matter what the instrument, eyeballs, binoculars, telescopes, slow down. Let your eyes absorb the view, and just take your time. So an exercise for new or old viewers, spend an hour. If you've been doing this for 20, 30, 40 years, take it. If you haven't recently, spend an hour with just your eyeballs and your maps. Identify Polaris, go around again and pick out the constellations that are all around, that are available at that time. Number two, and set in your mind, whether you're new or old, that the stars stay put and the Earth rotates 15 degrees per hour. So if you're out there for an hour, yeah, your constellations are going to move. And it's tough for a lot of people to wrap their mind around that. But seeing a lunar eclipse, for example, and watching the shadow of the Earth block out the sunlight on the moon, see it actually move. It's a moving experience. And I have a few resources that I put together here that I think are terrific for first timers. Which is Night Watch by Terence Dickinson. I must have bought probably a half a dozen of these books and handed them out, lent them out, and just kind of never seemed to get them back. But it's a great first book, covers a lot of different subjects. Night Sky with the Naked Eye, another very nice book that you can spend a little time in the house with it and then go out and put it to good use. Backyard Astronomer's Guide is another one that sit down and it's for reading. It's not for something at the scope. But then a daily, the astronomy picture of the day. This started off my classroom, as it were, when I was learning. I would go to APOD every morning and follow 2 or 3 of the links, and take those links to wherever they went and learn from those links. I got to pick up quite a bit just in that way. Great resource. Sky Maps, if you haven't got your own Sky Maps, you want a little resource for that. Free map every month. You just print it out on your printer. Skymaps.com. It's right there. They have Northern Hemisphere and Southern Hemisphere. And really, you get a couple of these and you go through them. On the back side of this, it'll give you different objects to look for and different details to pay attention to in that given month. And then of course there's my book, which I plug. I am, by the way, I'm introducing, just received the first of version 7. And I've updated all the right ascension and declination addresses to 2031, moving it out into the future. And if we have enough time, I'd like to just take a quick tour for those not familiar with it. It started the project by my curiosity, what's up there and what's there, what is it and where is it? Frustration with incomplete resources, my designer's sense of order, and a desire to learn. I put it together. And, when I was seeing star maps like this, it just got me more and more confused. And then I looked into uranometria and saw that it goes to Mag 15, and I only had a 6-inch scope, a little reflector, and I knew that there was no way I was going to get to seeing the glow of a cigarette at 200 miles. That's Mag 15. And so I began putting my own together. And my initial parameters were that it had magnitude limit as Mag 10. I include some that are a little bit beyond that, but nothing past 10.5. Northern Hemisphere, just few abbreviations. Having had Burnham's books and having to study the abbreviations all the time and not memorizing them all from start to finish, it really was frustrating for me. So bottom line, what is it and where is it? And so I came up with some star stories to group constellations together in different forms, and point out, for example, the 3 leaps of the Gazelle, a nice little asterism in Ursa Major, the summer triangle, the winter triangle, and more there. And then I get some details on what is right ascension, what is declination, and for the vocabulary that we need, we have a little different vocabulary, like any science does. And I worked with Alan Dyer in helping develop, making the moon section a lot more useful by growing the images and getting larger images. So working with him on that, and then including the 100 objects, 100 items from the Astronomy League's list. And then I have all season maps with Mag 7 or brighter, what I refer to as the city objects, and then refer to their pages for the map and the list. And then there's the map with its associated list, Cygnus, Sagittarius, Scorpius, a couple others make it on 2 spreads. And then I do my own little star size, brightness sizes, and then my particular legend on what an object is. And the maps are all object oriented as opposed to stellar oriented. Coming up now is Virgo, so I thought I'd include this, and Markarian's chain, which is just magnificent, between Denibola and Vindamatrix. There it is right there. Right in here is 84 and 86, and then you come around there and you pick up, a whole lot of galaxies. I mean, there's just a real galactic playground, binoculars or telescope. And if you're lucky and you're in a real dark sky, you might pick up a couple of these brighter ones. Alan had to say about my book, provides the reader with a lifetime list of great objects to observe, and I really appreciate his review of that, as well as does Alvin Huey, who's another famous author. He always thought PSA was a great book, but it's an atlas. And needed to, that I solved the problem of not having to look up an object in another book. So with my book, whatever book, and a planisphere and binoculars, eyeballs, get out to a dark site. This happens to be Enjoy Field, which is a grass airstrip in east central Illinois, and lovely horizon to horizon views with very, very little interruption. With that, I thank you for your time, and I haven't seen any hands go up, but I'll open the floor to questions if you have any.
So Peter, when is it you're going to ship me my tripod for the binoculars? I've been waiting for that.
Oh, that new binocular that I have?
Yeah, because I asked you last year about the binoculars.
And I refresh my mind, please.
I'm kidding with you.
Maybe I conveniently forgot.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, please.
I'm sorry.
So as an alternative to the planisphere, do you think that there's any value in some of these modern apps that run on phones like Stellarium and that sort of a thing, or are they more trouble than they're worth?
No, they are fine. I have a couple on my phone, and I have a couple that are on my my desktop here, and they're great resources. What's the one I got on my phone? Hold on a second. I found one. I've got an Android. It's what's this thing called? Whoops, no. That's a weather chart. Oh, just called Sky Map. I find it's very functional. I don't use it when I'm out in the field, just because the brightness of the phone, I can put it on red, but just turning it on and starting the phone up, I get this brightness that I don't work well with. My eyes don't work well with. I'm getting older, and my eyes don't work the same way they did when I was younger. So it takes me a little bit longer to get dark adapted. So I would suggest, use the phone apps, the desktop apps, find out what's going on. As I mentioned with my book is designed for use at the scope with a red light. And that's why the black and white print inside, so that it's easily readable, at the scope. But yeah, use those other ones. But be warned that using them out in the field can be detrimental to your eyesight. Your dark adapted eyesight. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, that's good. Thanks.
Okay, sure.
Hi, Peter. This is Divya here. My question is, you mentioned that in this book you cover Mag 10 and anything brighter than Mag 10. So I'm just starting off with the 25 by 100 binoculars, and I wanted to know what is the magnitude, brightness that I will be able to see with that kind of binoculars. Because when I look through the eyes, I can see, let's say, 10 or 15 stars in a patch of sky. And when I look through the binoculars, I can see a lot more, right? And I know that if I use a more powerful telescope, maybe there'll be more to see. But if I look at, through the binoculars, what is, for this kind of binoculars, what is the magnitude or that I should be able to see?
I think your limiting magnitude, it will, a lot will depend on the darkness of your sight.
Sure.
If you have, light pollution anywhere near the area. If a general rule of thumb, probably mag 8.5 to 9. You may even be able to pick up some mag 10 objects in a very dark sky. With binoculars, I've found, and others have found too, is that because you're using both eyes, it makes it a little bit easier to pick objects out and gives you more of a three-dimensional view. So you won't see you're magnifying 25 times, which is very good. I mean, it's more than Galileo ever had, and and the quality of the lenses of the equipment today, so far outpasses what Messier had and even Herschel. And so, with your 25 by hundreds, you should have no problem finding a great many objects. Let's say Mag 8, or 9
Okay.
would be a good range. Okay.
Okay. So, is that is that the brightest, rather the dimmest that I should be able to see? So anything, my question is, because if I look like you rightly said, right? I looked at your book when I was at one of the events, RAC events, and I could immediately tell what the problem was. Which when I just started looking at Orion, I couldn't find the belt through the binoculars. The belt looked like slanting the other way. And when I looked at your book, I could tell instantly which stars I was looking at as opposed to the belt, right? So then I knew I need to move down. I need to move my binoculars down. But my question is, should I be able to on a let's say in a rally kind of view, should I be able to see on a good day anything Mag 5 and brighter, or Mag 8
Oh,
in
Mag,
a dark?
yeah, Mag 5, 5 to 7, those are
Okay.
city objects. I refer to them
Okay.
that are more easily seen, in light polluted skies even.
Okay.
Up to Mag 7. So yeah, finding those things in Orion. Let me turn to Orion here. There it is. Yeah, there's quite a lot in Orion that, for example, the sword bottom, NGC 1980, Mag 2.5, and we go down to, well, go up into the elbow. Is it the elbow? No, it's up in his hand above Betelgeuse. There's a couple of Mag 7 objects up there.
Okay.
And of course, there's a lot more, in Mag 9 and 10. And, you just have to see what you can see on that night, given the seeing and transparency of
Sure.
the air that night. So and as the night goes on, especially in the summer, after the initial dew fall at around 11 o'clock, has been my experience. After that, the sky begins to dry out a little bit, and then more things come into view. And so it's the time of night, it's the quality of the sky, and it just, there's so much comes to play, and it's the amount of time you spend looking. By the way, with my binoculars, my Barskas, I made a zero mag finder, a viewfinder, using a small tube, about 3/4 of an inch diameter. And then I mounted it on top of the binoculars so I could use that. And I align them during the day. And then I use the finder, and then I know right where I am instead of guessing with the binocs.
Right. Okay.
Okay?
Thank you. Yep.
yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for your question. Next.
Anybody else have any questions? Anybody in the room? Online? Well, Peter, thank you for your time.
I will stop this share.
And can I get a? There you go.
Woo-hoo.
Hopefully you can hear it.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it. Thank you very much. And hey,
thank you, Peter.
always good time.
Absolutely.
I hope I didn't go over time too much here.
Yeah, we got time.
All right.
We love to talk to you.
I'll hang around for a while, and if there are any other questions, type it out, and I'll see if I can answer.
Okay. We're going to stop now for 5 minutes, and for everybody. And after 5 minutes, we're going to come back with our business meeting.